Hello, my name is John Harris. I'm a professor in the Linguistics department at UCL. Welcome to UCL Linguistics. Today I'm going to give you a brief presentation about the undergraduate linguistics degrees. I'm going to start by saying who we are, then I'll say a little bit about what we do, our research and our teaching. Then I'll talk you through the UCL linguistics degrees that you're interested in today, and then I'll finish up by saying a little bit about what it's like to study linguistics at UCL. So here we are, at least some of us. Linguistics at UCL is part of the Division of Psychology and Language Sciences in the Faculty of Brain Sciences. And the linguistics team consists of 16 permanent members of staff who are all researchers of international standing. We have 3 degrees that you'll be hearing about today. We have a BA Linguistics program, which is 3 years. We have a BA Linguistics International program, which is a 4-year version of the BA degree and includes a year abroad. And we have a BSc degree in Experimental Linguistics, which is 3 years. Each year we take in around 50 students on the BA and BSc degrees. And each year there are usually around 10 international affiliate students who join us from overseas universities. That means that next year there will be around 120 undergrad linguistics students in total. What are the entry requirements for getting on to the BA or the BSc degree? If you're doing A levels, the standard offer is 2 A's and a B, and for the BA program that preferably includes 1 or more from English language, maths or a science subject. On the BSc we require at least 1 subject from biology, chemistry, maths, physics or psychology. If you're doing the International Baccalaureate, the standard offer is 36 points, preferably including the subjects English language, maths, psychology and a science subject. Now I'd like to say something about our research and our teaching. Research in linguistics is aimed at understanding language from a cognitive perspective. What does it mean to say that someone knows a language? Most of the knowledge that underpins our ability to produce and understand sentences is hidden, that is, it's below the level of consciousness. So the big question is, how do we find out about this knowledge? And how does this knowledge develop in the young child? Researchers in linguistics at UCL look at these core questions from a range of angles. How are sentences constructed? The study of syntax. How is meaning conveyed by language? The study of semantics and pragmatics. How are speech sounds produced and perceived? The study of phonetics and phonology. And in language acquisition, how does language develop in the young child? Now, our teaching is driven by our research into these core questions. What kind of people get attracted to linguistics? Well, often it's people with a background in languages who become interested in how languages work, how languages differ from one another, but also the ways in which languages are similar to one another. People with an interest in solving puzzles, with an interest in spotting patterns in complex data. People interested in rhetoric, how language can be used to persuade people. And more generally, what language teaches us about the human mind and the human brain. Besides learning about the nature of human language, here are some of the more general skills and abilities that you acquire along the way when you do a linguistics degree. You learn how to understand complex technical texts. You learn how to communicate findings with clarity, to understand how the best arguments are based on evidence and how to present clear written arguments based on evidence. You learn how to understand how language influences opinions in the process of argument and counter-argument. And you learn to undertake major research projects. I'm now going to talk you through our 3 undergraduate degrees, starting with the BA Linguistics program. One of the main purposes of the BA degree is to give you a firm grounding in the core subject areas of linguistics, that is in syntax, semantics and pragmatics, and phonetics and phonology. Now each year a student takes 8 course units, and some of these are compulsory courses in linguistics in the core subject areas. And then you have a choice from a range of option courses, which can include subjects from outside linguistics. In the first year, all the courses are compulsory. The idea here is that we would like to give you a firm foundation in linguistics before you start branching out and specializing in the areas that interest you most. So in the first year, we have 2 introductory courses in each of the 3 core subject areas. 2 in syntax, 2 in semantics and pragmatics, 2 in phonetics and phonology. Then we have 1 introductory course in language acquisition in the young child, and 1 general introduction course to linguistics, which presents an overview of the field. In the second year, you do 4 compulsory courses in linguistics, then you choose 2 linguistics courses from a range of options, and then you choose 2 further courses, which can be from in linguistics or from outside linguistics. If you choose a course from outside linguistics, there are 2 requirements. First of all, it must fit your linguistics timetable, and secondly, you have to be able to convince the other department that you're a fit and proper person to do that subject. In your final year, you undertake a linguistics project, which leads to a dissertation. You'll be under the supervision of a member of staff with expertise in your chosen subject area. And a typical scenario is that you act as a research assistant on an existing project where your supervisor is the principal investigator. Then you take 4 option courses in the core linguistics subject areas, and finally 2 more option courses from anywhere in UCL, including linguistics. And again, if you choose from a different department, you need to meet the timetabling requirement and gain approval from that department. There's a wide range of option courses available in linguistics, and here's a list of just some of them. Psycholinguistics, stages in normal language development in the young child. Psycholinguistics, language processing, which looks at what's going on in your head when you're producing and understanding sentences. The linguistics of sign languages. We have a world-leading expert in deaf sign language in our department. The relation between animal communication systems and human language. Neurolinguistics, which looks at brain activity during language processing. Multilingualism, Chinese syntax, second language speech processing, sociolinguistics, morphology, which is the term linguists use for word building, stuttering, and the phonology of English. What about option courses from outside linguistics? Well, here are some of the departments that our students have chosen courses from over the last few years. The UCL Language Centre offers practical language courses in the major world's languages. Psychology and philosophy are obvious departments for our students given the overlap with linguistics. But some of our students have also gone as far afield as genetics and business studies. What about the BA Linguistics International Programme? The BA Linguistics International degree is the same as the 3-year BA programme with the addition of 1 year that you spend abroad, and that's your 3rd year. You spend your year abroad at one of our exchange partner universities, and we currently have exchange agreements with the universities I've listed here: the University of Sydney, the University of Waterloo in Canada, the University of British Columbia, the Chinese University of Hong Kong, Waseda University in Tokyo, the University of Massachusetts, the University of Texas, McGill University in Montreal, the University of Toronto, the University of Tübingen, Ca' Foscari in Venice, the University of Utrecht in the Netherlands, and the universities in California. These exchanges are reviewed periodically and can change from 1 year to the next. Now I'll say something about the BSc Experimental Linguistics degree. The BSc degree focuses on the same fundamental questions as the BA program. What does it mean to say that someone knows a language? However, unlike the BA program, the BSc has a much greater focus on the experimental methods used to understand how language is acquired and stored and processed in the brain. So compared to the BA Linguistics program, the BSc degree has fewer mandatory courses in core linguistics subjects and more experimentally based courses. Here's the structure of the BSc degree. In the first year, all the courses are compulsory and 7 of those courses are shared with the BA program. There is, however, one course designed specifically for the BSc program at this level, namely in research methods. In the second year, you do 4 compulsory courses in research methods, language acquisition, psycholinguistics, and neurolinguistics. You take 3 option courses in core linguistics, and you have 1 option course in whatever subject. In the third year, you do a research project leading to a dissertation under the supervision of a single member of staff. You have a compulsory practical lab course. You have 1 option course in experimental linguistics, 2 option courses in the core linguistics subjects, and 2 option courses in any subject. Now I'd like to say something about what it's like to study linguistics at UCL. Here's what the working week looks like. Each year you do 8 courses, 4 in the first term, 4 in the second term. The third term is devoted mainly to revision and exams. So in the first 2 terms, the way it works is this. You do 4 courses each week, and each course consists of a lecture and a small group backup class. The lecture is usually 1 to 2 hours. A small backup class is usually 1 hour. By a backup class, we mean we split the class up into smaller tutorial groups or workshop groups. The rest of your working week is devoted to reading and coursework. It's personal. Our intake is relatively small, certainly compared to degrees like psychology, English language. The result is that all students get to know each other and staff get to know most of the students. Our class sizes are relatively small as a result. The largest class you'll find yourself in would be a lecture in introductory courses that you take in first year, where you may be in a class of maybe up to 60 or 70 students. But you must remember that every lecture is accompanied by a small group class where you'll be down to around 10 to 15 students. Moreover, as you progress through the degree and you start specializing in particular subjects, you will find that the class sizes start to shrink, so that by the time you get into final year, the class sizes can be down to around 10, 15 students, where you're looking more at a seminar style delivery of teaching rather than a lecture. The lecturers themselves operate an open door policy insofar as that's possible in these days of health and safety. What that means is, metaphorically, that we have open doors. We can be approached for you to make appointments. You can approach us in our lectures or classes, or you can drop us an email and we can set up an appointment. We often get asked about the methods of assessment on the degrees, and it's a pretty wide range of different methods. Each course uses some combination of coursework, written exams, online tests, and live presentations. The exams and tests typically are used mainly on the introductory courses, and even then only in combination with coursework. By the time you get into more advanced courses in the second and third years, it's mostly coursework, and in many advanced courses it's down to a single term paper. So for the term you would write a single paper on a topic that you would agree with your lecturer. When you join the UCL linguistics degrees, you're guaranteed high quality teaching, and the results speak for themselves. There's something called the National Student Survey, which all students complete when they graduate. And 2017, which is the last year for which we have full results, UCL BA Linguistics scored an overall student satisfaction rate of 93%, which is considerably higher than the national average in the UK. The Student Union at UCL runs a program called the Student Choice Teaching Awards, and this is where students nominate teachers for the quality of their teaching. And every year over the last few years, our linguistics department has done very, very well. For example, in 2017, 9 out of the 16 linguistics staff members were nominated, compared to an average of 10% across UCL. And overall, there were 17 nominations from linguistics. The 2019-20 results are just in, and linguistics again scored very high. You'll have access to high quality library and computing facilities. We have a dedicated speech and language library in our own building. There's the main UCL library, the UCL Science Library, and the libraries of various other University of London colleges in the area. Increasingly, however, students make use of electronic library facilities. UCL Library has digital subscriptions to all the major journals in speech and language sciences. There's Wi-Fi access all over campus, as well as in student accommodation. There are also student access PCs in all the buildings. What about our students? Our students regularly win awards for their work, and I'll give you a couple of recent examples. The Faculty of Brain Sciences at UCL awards a medal each year for the top graduating student, and linguistics students have won this 2 years running in recent years. Another example, the Linguistics Association of Great Britain, that's the professional body for linguists in the UK, it awards a prize for the outstanding undergraduate dissertation in linguistics each year, and UCL linguistics students have won this several times over the past few years. So what do our students go on to do after they graduate? Well, quite a lot of them go on to do postgraduate vocational degrees, for example, in speech and language therapy, marketing, management, law, postgraduate certificate in education, accountancy. Some get the linguistics bug and want to stay in academia, go on to do PhD and then postdoctoral research and eventually get jobs in universities. And our graduates have been very successful in getting posts at universities across the world. Some go directly into real employment, and we know how difficult that is in this day and age. But recently, students of ours have gone into marketing, advertising, the media, the civil service, the charity sector. And I can't resist telling you that one of our students, or at least one of them, has gone on to become a 400 meters gold medalist. So anyway, let's hear from two of our recent graduates who will tell their own stories.
Hi everyone, my name is Charlotte and I graduated from the BA Linguistics program 3 years ago, and now I'm teaching English as a foreign language in Vietnam. So how did I get here? Well, as part of my degree, I did a TEFL qualification, which was absolutely incredible because it allowed me to go to Malta for a summer and now halfway across the world to teach English. So I'd highly recommend it. And also, as part of my degree, I got to do lots of volunteering with the Stroke Association and with Headway to work with people with speech, language and communication disorders. And as part of my third year project, I was researching children with language disorders. So at the end of the BA, I did a 2-year master's, also based in Charterhouse, and it qualified me to be a speech and language therapist. So after this year in Vietnam, the plan is to get back to London and hopefully work for the NHS. So I'd recommend that you take advantage of all of the opportunities that UCL has to offer. Do lots of volunteering, go and join societies and have fun. I was involved with LinkSoc, so we brought in guest speakers to talk about linguistics, but also we organised social events for our department. So tons of fun, and it gave me so much experience in organising events, managing logistics and working with teams. So very valuable even in a workplace. So yeah, today some of my closest friends are still the ones I made in linguistics. So I hope you have a great experience too, have loads of fun, just enjoy yourself.
Hi guys, my name is Tom, I'm from Belfast, and I actually graduated from the linguistics course about 4 years ago. So where am I? What have I been up to? Well, I'm actually in Beijing of all places, and I'm working as a video presenter and scriptwriter. But on the side, I'm applying for an online master's in diplomacy, because that's what I really want to get into, at King's and SOAS. And I'm preparing for the top native level Chinese exam, and I make these Chinese language vlogs. So how did I get here? Well, first of all, having a UCL degree is fantastic. I mean, it looks great on the CV, and it was one of the reasons I was able to get a couple of scholarships, including at the British Council, at Tsinghua University, and why I was able to be a researcher on the British Chamber of Commerce report, which was very cool. Also at UCL, I did a TEFL degree, which please do that. It's a fantastic qualification. You can support yourself when you're abroad. Really recommend it. Also, when I was at UCL, I really got into acting, and me and some other linguists, we even went to the Edinburgh Fringe, and I gave a lot of the acting skills I need in my job as a presenter. And as well as that, yes, I did Chinese, a Chinese module. So that meant when I came here on a scholarship to learn Chinese, I was able to hit the ground running. So I hope you guys can enjoy the course just as much as I did and just get as much out of it as I did.
I'm sure you have further questions, and we'll have a Q&A session right after this. However, if you want to follow up some of the web links that can give you more details about our degrees, they're on this slide here, and you can get a copy of these slides. We'll be giving a copy of these slides to anyone who participates in the session today. But you'll find links there to each of the degrees I've mentioned. So that's the BA Linguistics degree, the BA Linguistics International degree, and the BSc Experimental Linguistics degree. There's also a link to a YouTube video about UCL there. Well, that finishes the slide presentation. I'll see you over at the Q&A session. But in the meantime, I'd like to thank you again for visiting UCL Linguistics.